They smile at you. They ask how you're doing. They pretend to support you, but deep down, they're waiting for you to fall. They don't clap when you win. They don't cheer when you rise. They sit quietly, hoping you'll fail just so they can feel better about themselves. These aren't friends. These are haters dressed as supporters. They don't scream at you. They don't confront you. Their weapon is silence. Their tool is fake concern. Their strategy? Stay close enough to watch, far enough to hope you crash. And if you're not careful, they'll pull you into their game. They'll drain your peace. They'll twist your name. They'll sabotage your growth, and you won't even see it happening. But this isn't a video about revenge. This is about power, about strategy, about learning how to deal with hate without ever saying a word. Because when Machiavelli wrote about power, he didn't mean cruelty, he meant survival. He taught us how to defeat enemies with silence, how to win battles without raising a hand, and how to stay calm while your enemies fall apart on their own. In this video, you'll learn how to deal with haters the Machiavellian way, how to protect your energy, how to outsmart envy, and how to keep rising while they kneel in confusion. Let them hate, let them talk, because after this, they'll never see you the same way again. 1. The truth about haters. Before you take a hater personally, you need to understand something deep. Haters don't target people beneath them, they go after people rising. If you weren't doing something right, they wouldn't even notice you. But the moment you level up, they show up. Because your growth shines a light on their failure. Your ambition reminds them they're stuck. Your peace reminds them they're still broken. Your confidence exposes their fear. Your progress hurts them, not because you hurt them, but because you remind them of what they could have been. And so they attack, not with fists, with words, with gossip, with fake smiles, with silence. They'll try to make you feel like you're the problem, but you're not. Machiavelli understood this truth deeply. People are more likely to hate you for doing better than for doing wrong. When you start shining, you disturb their comfort zone. You become the mirror that shows them their laziness. And instead of rising with you, they try to pull you down. But here's the twist. They're not reacting to you. They're reacting to what you make them feel about themselves. That's not your guilt, that's your power. So stop wondering, why do they hate me? The better question is, what is it about me that scares them? 2. Don't react. Disarm. The first rule of dealing with haters? Don't react emotionally, react strategically. They want you angry. They want you defensive. Because the moment you react, they win. You give them space in your mind. You give them control over your energy. Machiavelli never believed in fighting every enemy. He believed in disarming them quietly, without throwing a single punch. Here's how you do that. Instead of clapping back, confuse them. If they talk behind your back, compliment them in public. If they try to turn people against you, support their work in front of others. Why? Because it shakes their foundation. They expect war, you give them kindness. They expect anger, you give calm. Now they look like the bitter one. That's psychological power. And then you build your army. Help others, give credit, support people around you. Create quiet loyalty. Because here's the truth. Loyalty is louder than hate. When people trust you, no rumor can destroy you. When people respect you, no hater can shake your neck. But be smart. Machiavelli warned against helping everyone. Be selective. Give where it builds your strength, not where it drains you. One smart favor, one well-timed compliment, one act of leadership. That's all it takes to turn a crowd in your favor. Your goal isn't to fight. Your goal is to make them irrelevant. Fill the room without speaking. You don't need to shout to be powerful. You don't need to prove anything to people who already decided not to understand you. Power isn't about noise, it's about influence. And haters, they don't work alone. They depend on a group, a few listeners, You people they can manipulate into believing them. That's their power. And that's exactly where you strike. Don't attack the hater. Remove their audience. Start winning over the people around them quietly. Speak with clarity. Move with discipline. Help others without needing praise. Let your actions talk louder than their stories. And slowly, people begin to question things. And if he's really arrogant, why does he treat everyone with respect? If she's fake, why do people keep trusting her? That's the seed of doubt. And once it's planted, the echo chamber cracks. Now, take it further. Don't expose your hater. Let their own behavior expose them. Just keep doing good work consistently. Let others praise you. Let your name rise in the same room they're in. And when they hear your name spoken with respect while they're standing right there, that's the shift. That's when the room stops listening to them and starts watching you. You didn't raise your voice. You didn't argue. You simply controlled the room without saying a word. 4. Don't try to fix them. Here's a mistake strong people often make. They try to fix the hate. They think maybe if I explain myself, they'll understand. Maybe if I'm kind enough, they'll stop. But the truth is brutal. Some people are committed to hating you. Not because of something you did, not because you hurt them, but because your success reminds them they've done nothing. Your very existence threatens their self-image, and no explanation will change that. Machiavelli would say, never try to convert your enemy. Let them stay in the dark while you rise in the light. Trying to make a hater understand you is like pouring water on a dead plant. It wastes your time. And worse, it gives them emotional access to you. Have you ever noticed that the more you try to explain, the more they twist your words? They don't want clarity. They want control. They want to poke holes in your confidence. They want to make you second-guess your vision. And every second you spend arguing with them, they gain power. So, here's the rule. Don't explain, don't justify, don't try to win them over. Your growth will speak. Your results will prove. Your silence will hurt more than anything you could ever say. Haters want a quick reaction. They want you off balance. They want you distracted today so you lose your future. But here's what they don't see. You're not playing for today. You're playing the long game. Machiavelli believed that real power comes from patience. He wrote about fortuna, the unpredictable force of fate. And he said, only the disciplined rise when the moment arrives. While they waste time watching you, gossiping, mocking, doubting, you're building, you're studying, you're moving in silence, you're getting stronger where they can't see. And one day, without a word, without a warning, you'll arrive. And when you do, you won't need to say anything. Your success will scream. Your growth will blind them. Your presence will silence every rumor they started. That's what they fear most. Not your anger, not your comeback, but the fact that you kept going without them. That's why patience isn't weakness, it's a weapon. While they burn fast and loud, you rise slow and unstoppable. So let them talk. Let them mock. You're too busy becoming something they'll never catch. 6. Control the narrative. Machiavelli taught us something that still holds true today. People don't care what's true, they care what looks true. So, don't just live your story, shape it. Control what they see, guide what they hear. You're not trying to impress people, share that progress. You're sending signals. And every post, every action, every win is part of the story you control. So what do? Post that win. Celebrate that quiet victory. Not to brag, but to remind the world that you're still moving. Because while the haters are whispering, you're making it obvious. You're not fazed, you're focused. But keep it real. Don't fake perfection. Let people see the struggle too, the setbacks, the lessons, the bounce back. That's what builds trust. And trust is louder than gossip. When people see both your strength and your scars, they follow you. They relate to you. And most importantly, they defend you. Now your hater is cornered. They try to bring you down, but no one's listening. Because you've already taken the room. Without force, without drama, without begging. You shaped the story and they got written out. 7. Silence is strategy. The loudest people often disappear first. They burn bright, fast, and then they burn out. But silence is dangerous. Silence is calculated. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He knew that real power doesn't shout, it waits. Because haters can't handle what they can't read. They want you loud, emotional, predictable. That's how they trap you, by pulling you into their chaos. But when you stay silent, when you keep building with no updates, no drama, no reaction, you become a mystery, and a mysterious person becomes a threat. You don't need to tell them you're winning. Let your glow-up break them in silence. Let your results echo in rooms they're not even invited to. And when you finally arrive, when your life starts to reflect the work you've done in private, their gossip becomes meaningless. Their bitterness becomes invisible. Their attacks look childish. Because here's the truth. When the results speak, the rumors die. Silence isn't weakness. It's the most powerful message you can send. I don't need to explain myself. I'm already becoming everything they said I couldn't be. 8. Dominate without a fight. They laughed when you started. They whispered when you grew. They questioned your change, not because it was wrong, but because it reminded them they stayed the same. Every move you made, every step forward you took, it exposed the steps they were too afraid to take themselves. And that's why they hated you. Not because you failed, but because you had the courage to rise. But now you understand them. And once you understand your enemy, they lose power. Machiavelli didn't waste time trying to be liked. He didn't waste energy explaining. He focused on building power that couldn't be shaken. That's what you're doing now. You've seen through the fake support. You've spotted the hidden jealousy. You've recognized how haters use silence, doubt, and guilt to keep you small. But you didn't break. You stood still while they started falling apart. You didn't need to expose them, their own behavior did that. You didn't need revenge. Your results handled it for you. And now when you walk into the room, their voice goes quiet. Not by accident, but by design. Because that's what dominance looks like. It doesn't argue. It doesn't scream. It arrives and the room adjusts. So remember this. You don't need to prove anything to a hater. You only need to become someone they can't touch, no matter what they say. Keep rising. Keep building. Let them watch. Because they talked and you moved. Now, they kneel. If this gave you clarity, peace, or fire to keep going, subscribe. Because here, we don't complain, we win silently. Drop a comment below with the words, "Silence breaks them." Let them know you've entered your power. 9 Build Fire of the 9 to Work From books from the Executive Action Zone by Jean-Jacques Rameau. Now this is a textbook for all of you. They watched you closely, not to support you, but to catch you slipping. They waited in silence, smiling when you struggled, and hiding their envy when you climbed higher. They were never rooting for you. They just stuck around long enough to see if you'd fail. Your ambition made them uncomfortable, not because you were loud about it, but because you had the audacity to rise when they stayed still, and that exposed them. They weren't mad at what you did wrong. They were shaken by what you did, right? Because every step you took forward reminded them of the steps they never took. You didn't get lucky. You didn't cheat. You simply refused to stop. And that's what they can't accept. They wanted you to fold under pressure, to doubt yourself, to drown in their silence and gossip. But you did something dangerous instead. You endured. You stopped chasing approval. You stopped trying to explain your vision to blind minds. You focused. You moved in silence. You grew in places they couldn't see. And now they can't handle what you've become. Machiavelli understood this kind of power. The kind that doesn't need to announce itself. It walks in and the room shifts. That's what you're becoming. You didn't need revenge. You didn't need validation. You just needed time and discipline. And now they watch with regret. Not because you changed, but because you kept going when they were betting against you. You rose, and they kneel, not because you crushed them, but because they can't reach you anymore. Then, destroy their power without saying a word. Haters don't always scream. Some whisper, some nod and smile. But the moment you walk away, they twist your name like it's a game. They don't need to be loud to be dangerous. Because gossip is quiet poison. And if you don't know how to protect your name, they'll rewrite your entire story behind your back. But Machiavelli didn't teach us to scream back. He taught us to control perception, to break an enemy by starving their influence. Don't argue with a hater. Don't post about them. Don't defend yourself in their circus. Instead, build reputation like a weapon. If they talk about you, let them. You don't silence a rumor with words. You silence it with respect, results, and repetition. Deliver so well that even the people they gossip to start doubting them. Be consistent, be kind but not soft. Speak well of others. Help without asking for anything back. Not because you're weak, but because you're planting seeds of silent loyalty. The more people trust you, the harder it becomes for your enemy to twist your name. That's how you destroy their influence. Not by attacking them, but by taking the room away from them. And when the crowd turns toward you, when people start choosing your name, your side, your presence, the hater becomes irrelevant. Their voice fades, their lies collapse, their bitterness drowns in your silence. Because real strategy isn't loud, it's surgical. And when you move like that, they don't just lose the battle, they lose the ability to play the game. 11. You didn't fight back, you became untouchable. 300 words. You didn't catch them. You didn't expose them. You didn't waste your time proving them wrong. And still, you won. Because the truth is, haters don't fall when you fight them. They fall when you outgrow them. And that's exactly what you did. They built their identity around your failure. They thought you needed their approval, their support, their validation. But you proved something far more dangerous. You never needed them at all. While they were watching you, you were working. While they were gossiping, you were growing. While they were waiting for your downfall, you were building something too high for them to reach. Machiavelli never asked for understanding. He didn't try to correct small minds. He built power so real, so visible, so cold, that even his enemies had no choice but to respect him in silence. That's what you've done now. You didn't fight your haters. You outlasted them. You didn't raise your voice. You let your presence speak. And now, they sit quiet in rooms where your name is praised. They scroll in silence while your wins light up the screen. They see you, not as someone who broke them, but as someone they can't reach anymore. That's the victory. You didn't just rise. You became unreachable, unshakable, unstoppable. They played petty games. You played the long game. And now, they kneel, not because you made them, but because your silence left them no other choice.